Let me say that our purpose for being here today is to emphasize how vitally important it is to have the representative in the Congress of the United States from this district to be a member of the Armed Services Committee in the House of Representatives. Let me just thank everybody for being here, and let me just point out a few people. Earl Sigmund is here this morning. He's chairman of the Burlington County Military Affairs Committee, a great organization that has figured greatly in helping us fight the base realignment and closure actions that have taken place. Lou Nagy and Lisa Post, who served on the executive board of the Joint Task Force for McGuire and Dix in 2004 and 2005. Mayor Tom Harper, who is an unwavering supporter of the bases. Mike Engie, the president of the Vietnam Veterans of America in South Jersey. Gary Pritchett of the Cookstown VFW, and my great friend Bob Yancey. Where's Yancey?
Hey, right here.
Hey, Yancey, there we are. So thank all of you for being here. Also, Springfield Deputy Mayor Pete Saboka is here. So thank you for being here. I believe that Jim Severance from the Wrightstown Council is also here. And last but not least, my great friend and a great candidate, Chris Myers, who I believe will be my successor. And that's why we're here today, to tell everybody why that's so important. The representative, as I said before, from this district has to be, or should be, it's very important that he be a member of the House Armed Services Committee. My appointment to the Armed Services Committee by the Minority Leader in 1991 enabled me to help South Jersey military bases. Let me just verbally walk through this district and through South Jersey to try and explain just how important this is. We're here today just outside of Fort Dix, McGuire Air Force Base, and of course across the way in Ocean County, Navy Lakehurst, which are in the process of being molded into one mega base. When I was elected, just as an example, McGuire Air Force Base had a total workforce of about 5,000 people. Today, it's twice that. When I became a member of the Armed Services Committee, Fort Dix was on the closure list. Today, Fort Dix has mobilized and deployed more soldiers than any other reserve component base in the entire country. Navy Lakehurst is in the process of developing the newest and greatest catapult system, electromagnetic catapult system, because it is the research center now for the Navy in the northeastern part of the United States. These things just wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been on the Armed Services Committee and if we hadn't had this great team of people to support our efforts. Walking a little bit further around the district, you may remember that there was a fire in Ocean County a year or so ago. It was on the bombing range down in the southern part of Ocean County. Because I was on the Armed Services Committee, we got it closed temporarily until a new set of rules and regulations were enacted to safeguard the lives of people in that area. Today it is back operational under a new set of rules. Much because of the activities that I was able to engage in as a member of the House Armed Services Committee. Where we're standing today, there once was a row of stores that were built in World War II. Today they're gone, and the 40 acres directly behind us has been transferred from Fort Dix to the borough of Wrightstown. This will be the site of a new center of economic activity, and again, this transfer of land took place because I was a member of the House Armed Services Committee. Going a little bit further away from the base, all the way to the Delaware River, is a firm called L3 Communications. It is a defense contractor with 1,000 people working, many of whom live in the district that Chris is going to represent. A little bit further to the west is Computer Science Corporation, another defense contractor, with about 1,200 jobs. And a little bit further to the west is Lockheed Martin. If if you add all the jobs together from Lockheed Martin, L3, and Computer Science Corporation, we get to about 8,000 to 10,000 jobs. They're all defense-related jobs, and it is important to recognize that as a member of the House Armed Services Committee, I've been there to support those jobs. Chris Myers will do the same. Moving further to the east in Ocean County, you may remember that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers pumped up some World War I munitions onto the beach in the beach replenishment program. We had to get the project going, then we had to get it stopped until we got it cleaned up. And I had to get authorization in the Defense Authorization Bill for 2009 for the Corps of Engineers to get $11 million to clean up the mess that they created. We got another $11 million in addition to that just recently to continue the beach restoration program, hopefully in Harvey Cedars. So this district and the surrounding area, I didn't mention the 177th Air Wing down in Pomona. Until Frank Lobiando became a member of the Armed Services Committee, I was their go-to guy as a member of the Armed Services Committee. So Chris Myers has expressed a desire to me to be on the Armed Services Committee, and I am absolutely honored to be able to inform you today that the Minority Leader John Boehner, who heads up the steering committee that decides who goes on what committees, has sent out a release, and I'll just read the release to you. It says, Washington, D.C. House Republican Leader John Boehner today pledged his support to secure an assignment in the important House Armed Services Committee for Chris Myers, Republican candidate in New Jersey's 3rd Congressional District. As a naval officer and as a Gulf War veteran, Chris Myers has proudly served our country and has my full support, Boehner says, for a seat on the House Armed Services Committee. Representation on the Armed Services Committee is important for the troops and military families in New Jersey's 3rd Congressional District, and I look to working with Chris, the Republican leadership, and members of the steering committee to secure Myers' post on the committee for the 111th Congress. New Jersey's 3rd Congressional District stretches the entire way across the state and is comprised of parts of Burlington, Ocean, and Camden counties, and I look forward to working with Chris Myers as the newly elected member of Congress and as a member of the House Armed Services Committee. So Chris, your prayers have been answered. John Boehner's in your corner, and that pretty much assures you of that seat.
Thanks,
congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Congressman Saxton, and thanks everybody for being out here. As you can see, as Congressman Saxton said, has worked long and hard through his great career to make sure that the Fort Dix, McGuire, and Navy Lakehurst were bases that were improving, that were saved, and to get additional services on those bases. You heard about the job growth. These bases are key economic drivers of our community. And as Leader Boehner said, with my background as a combat naval officer, I'll understand. There's not an admiral or general that's going to snow me on any military issue. And all of my background on the in the defense business, I understand the rules and regulations and all the things that require to get things moving within the Department of Defense. So I won't have to learn when I get down to the House to the House of Representatives. I'll be able to hit the deck running, as we say in the Navy, to start getting stuff right away to make sure our bases are secured. And my opponent in this race is not a veteran, doesn't have a military background. He's going to have a lot to learn in order to save these bases here and get the right stuff on these bases. So from a contrast perspective, I am clearly the better candidate. If we want to save these bases, do the right thing for the military, and make sure that we have a solid national security region economically in this area, but also to protect the United States of America, I'm the better candidate here. And I want to thank Leader John Boehner for pledging his support to get me on that committee. It's vitally important, and it shows you his confidence in me that I'll be able to perform right from the get-go on that. So again, this is an important announcement, and I look forward to winning this race and getting on the House Armed Services Committee. With that, again, thank you, Congressman Saxton, for all of your leadership and help. Appreciate that. And thanks everybody else for coming out. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And with that, we'll take your questions.